Tangent of 195. What are some different ways I can get to 195?
150 plus 45.
150 plus 45. 60 plus 135. I guess I don't care. Let's do what do you want to do?
60 plus 135, 150 plus 40. That's what I would like to do.
So let's do 60 plus 135. Now, when you look at the tangent formula, it's kind of an ugly formula. First of all, we'll do the tangent of the two angles on top. So you do the tangent of the two angles on top, and you add them together. If you're adding here, you will be adding here. But on the bottom, you do 1, and then you do the product. But down here, then, it's kind of what's the opposite. So, I don't know.
How do you know that?
One of the things is when you work with the tangent, those numbers are not readily available on the unit circle, right? So what I tend to do is off to the side, I will write them down and I'll say, okay, what's happening with the tangent of 60, what's happening with the tangent of 135, and then I'm going to plug the numbers in over there. So tangent of 135, we are at 1 to the 45, so my answer is 1 or negative 1. So 135, remember, puts us into the second quadrant. So it's a negative 1, so root 2 over 2 is your top number, your sign, but your cosine is negative there, so it's negative root 2 over 2 on the bottom. So a positive divided by negative is a negative. Now, either you guys remember the tangent of 60, like you've memorized that now, or you have to do some work. And at 60 degrees, so if you don't know it right away, remember the root 1/2 root 3 over 2 is tangent of 60. So I put the sign on top. Instead of dividing by 1/2, I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1 right away. And you get root 3 over 1 or root 3. But I'm really hoping you guys start to memorize that root 3 goes with 60 and root 3 over 3 goes with 30. So then all you have to do is say, oh, we're dealing with a tangent of a 60-degree angle. It's root 3, and in the first quadrant, tangent's positive. Okay, so this is part of what makes the tangent formula so ugly. Now, tangent of 60 we said is root 3. Tangent of 135. Are you guys okay if I just switch it to a -1 right away? Then on the bottom, you're doing 1 minus, and then we said root 3 times negative 1 there. I really do have root 3 plus negative 1. I just simplified root 3 minus 1. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Oh, we'll keep working, see if you get the same answer. Oh. So this turns out to be root 3 minus 1 over 1. This is a negative root 3, so it's 1 minus negative root 3, which is 1 plus root 3. I get a lot of people that want to start crossing off root 3s. Can't do that. We're not multiplying by root 3 anywhere. We're adding or subtracting them. So then you have to do your conjugate rule. So we're going to multiply by 1 minus root 3 on the top and the bottom, because I'm doing the conjugate of the denominator. So then that turns out to be 1 minus 3 on the bottom. All you have to do is multiply the bottom first and last. You don't have to worry about the oi. But on top, you do have to do some foiling. So this is going to be root 3 times 1. Root 3 times negative root 3 gives me negative 3. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. negative 1 times negative root 3 is positive root 3. Now we simplify. 1 minus 3 on the bottom gives me negative 2. What kind of like terms do we have on top? I have negative 3 and negative 1 gives me negative 4. Root 3 plus another root 3 gives me how many? 2 root 3s. Now there are different ways to simplify that. You guys can say it's a hard, break it apart. Or some of you might be able to say, what's negative 4 divided by negative 2? 2. What's 2 divided by negative 2? Negative 1 or negative root 3. Now this particular one, I for sure would throw into the calculator and check my decimal. That's pretty out there. We're supposed to do, we are supposed to do a sign where we're adding x plus y. So that is the sine of x times the cosine of y plus the cosine of x times the sine of y. So that's the formula we're supposed to be simplifying. But I don't know what x and y are right now or anything, so let's take a look at what they're telling us. Okay. Where is sine positive? So it says sine is 4/5. So where is sine positive?
First and second.
1 and 2. Where is 0 to pi over 2? 0 to pi over 2. Okay, so in this case, basically with that 0 to pi over 2, they came along and told me which quadrant to put it in. So we're going to draw a first quadrant triangle, call it triangle X, and I'm trying to keep the same colors here. Sine is 4/5, so opposite 4, hypotenuse 5, missing side 3. I'm still going through the work, even though we probably don't need to do this, but where's cosine negative? 2 and 3. But where is pi over 2 to pi?
2.
You know, so normally they give us like a half of the circle, but they're coming out and just giving us one quadrant. So I should draw this triangle in the second quadrant. We're going to call it triangle Y, yes. That is adjacent 12, hypotenuse 13, but the 12 is negative because it went to the left. What's the missing side? 169 minus 144 is 25. So the missing side is 5. So now when you look at the blue stuff, we go back and fill it in. The sine of x comes from the red triangle or up above, however you do it. It's 4/5. What's the sine of y? So let's do y right away. We're doing the sine. So stick with this red triangle. What's the sine of y? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Y is the green triangle. So we got to go to the y triangle. So 5 over 13. Cosine of y was given to us, or again, cosine of y, you look at triangle y, is that negative 12 over 13. And what's the cosine of triangle x? 3/5. And then it's still plus between. So do you see how we do that? You go to the x or the y triangle based on what it tells you. What's 4 times -12? Over 5 times 13? 65. 3 times 5 is 15 over 65. So we do have a common denominator, and we add them up. It looks like -33 over 65.